Abuja Inquirer. The major story here says, countdown to inauguration in Abuja. And some other stories, riders here says, massive security deployment, hotels fully booked, artisans count gains, Anglican Church set agenda for Tinubu. You find out the details on the front page of the Abuja Inquirer. And to the front page of the leadership newspaper, 7 days to go, Buhari shifts gear. Residents brace up as President Muhammadu Buhari's return to Dara enters final phase. All the details on the front page of the leadership newspaper. To the business day, the big story, world's toughest job awaits Tinubu. 14 chats show task ahead. Big story, world's toughest job awaits Tinubu. 14 chats show task ahead. You find details on the front page of the business day. And today's Nigerian newspaper now, 10th National Assembly, Northwest may lose one presiding officer's slot for balancing. North Central favored based on last election performance. All the details on the front page of this Nigerian newspaper. Mike?
All right, I have the first news here, and it's talking about corruption allegations. It said Northern CSO's coalition Ohaneze Youth swoop on EFCC chair Bauer and demands his resignation and sacked by President Buhari. Accuse EFCC boss of turning anti-graft agency to object of ridicule, political witch hunting, nepotism. All this you see on the front page of the first news. And then we move to Daily Trust. Daily Trust is saying 6 top sectors awaiting Tinubu's magic wand. And the magic wand is put in parentheses there. 6 top sectors awaiting Tinubu's magic wand. And experts advocate new security architecture think tank. A power grid crashes dog energy sector. And 77 trillion naira debt amid rising inflation. Okay, these are all some of the issues in there. Let's move now to Nigeria News Direct. Nigeria News Direct says Buhari, 5 African presidents to commission Dangote Petroleum Refinery. All right, and that should happen later today. Buhari, 5 African presidents to commission Dangote Petroleum Refinery. Now let's move to national economy, and it's saying $19 billion Dangote Refinery, Nigeria's local refining comes alive again. Refinery will save Nigeria 9 billion naira annually. Experts are saying this, okay? That's the national economy. Nature News is next, and it says why 70% of Nigeria's food exports are rejected. NAFDAC is saying this, right? Why 70% of Nigeria's food exports are rejected. NAFDAC, all right? The DG was talking about this as they set up their desk at the airport, so to monitor what is going out of the country for standardization purposes. All right, that's what we have.
Right, Mike. Let's look at the countdown to the inauguration and the fact that some experts have begun to talk about the magic wand of the president-elect and the sectors that are awaiting that magic wand to see the impact of that magic wand. Like we mentioned earlier, the countdown has begun and we have seen the deployment of massive security at the nation's capital. And we see that the transition group are already working. The activities are in top gear. Recently, I think last week, we saw a lineup of activities leading up to the inauguration and the kind of activities people can partake in. But then it has been said that if you have no business at the Eagle Square, don't come close.
Well, if you don't have a business, because a lot of people have a business that is not the kind of business that they're talking about.
Eagle Square.
Exactly. But because the point there is, anytime there is an inauguration of the president in Abuja, it creates a whole lot of chain of businesses for people of all kinds, from artisans to drivers to cab, whatever, no matter how small, people make a fortune from it contractors of all kinds, as a case, security agents and so on, hoteliers, restaurants. They all, it's a time to make money. As it is, people have even started making their budget, their profit projections.
Absolutely.
You know, for the inauguration. So, like a report said that hotels are booked. Are fully booked to capacity.
Yeah.
So some of the highbrow hotels or five-star hotels in Abuja, some of them are booked far ahead of time, especially the ones that will be housing the VIPs and the presidents and heads of government that will be coming. A lot of them are booked far ahead of time.
Yes.
Because if you don't do that now, you won't find any space anywhere. You know. But coming back to the issue of expectations.
Yes.
Now, a lot of people, that word magic wand. It's strategically used, and more so because Nigerians is what we used to say here sometimes, that Nigerians are expecting a miracle. Because the point there is, as much as one would say that the challenges of Nigeria cannot be fixed under one president or cannot be fixed under one administration. But the point there is that there has to be a template. There has to be steps taken. There has to be a foundation laying for Nigerians to know that, oh, something we've not gotten there yet, but I think we are moving. I think we are making some progress.
Yes,
we can see something happening. Yeah. These are the things Nigerians want to see. Nobody is saying that, oh, the moment a president is inaugurated, all the issues of education are over, and then, oh, we'll start living in heaven. Oh, every issues in health are over. We'll start living in heaven. No, that's not what the issues are. But we're saying that, for instance, if it is in education, the first budget of that administration, what is it looking like? How much money are you allocating to education? What are the plans? What are the strategies? What are the policies? You know, so these are the things. So when the president-elect in his inaugural speech, acceptance speech, was talking about the issue of working, when it comes to education,
he was sure that 4 years is 4 years.
4 years is 4 years. Number two, he talked about the issue of student credit.
Yes.
Right? These are issues that we have never seen in Nigeria before. So the capacity and ability to introduce some of these things will go a long way to changing the way we do education, the way we approach education here. And then he also talked about the issue of this curriculum. Some of the curriculum we use have been there since the 1960s, so, 1970s, and so on. No, so something has to change in such a way that anybody who graduates from school, you are relevant to the society that you are going into.
It reflects the evolving society.
Exactly. Because the society we have now,
has evolved.
Every 10 years, societies change. Every 10 years. Because the point is, the last 10 years was different from the early 2000s, between 2000 and 2010. Now, 2010 to 2000 to 2010 was different from 1990 to 2000. Now, if you also, that's how every decade things change. So the point there is that when you're talking about using a curriculum that we've been using since 1980, 1970, 1960, is no longer relevant to what we have right now. There has to be a change. In fact, the issue of social media, digital AI and STEM and all of that, they're changing the entire narrative. And our education system has to also reflect that modification or that change or transmogrification, as the case may be. So these are the things we have heard the president-elect talk about. And we all know, everyone knows he has the capacity to do it. But let him start immediately. Hit the ground running. That's what Nigerians want to see.
How he hits the ground running.
From the appointment he's going to make,
Nigerians
will begin to see, because Nigerians are particularly very interested in his lineup of cabinet members. Who are they going to be? What would they look like? What are their capacities, as the case may be? How soon would that? In fact, Nigerians expect that by the inauguration, let us, that day or that same week, let us have a sense. These are the names that will be sent to the National Assembly. Bam. So Nigerians wait for that. Seriously.
It's even beyond education now. Talking about security, which is top on the list.
Top on the list right now.
For most of the experts. We see what has happened in recent times, especially what we saw happen in Jos and even across
In
the
Mangu,
country,
exactly.
in Mangu, in Kaduna,
in Kaduna, in Benue.
across the country. We have seen the situation on the ground, and a lot of Nigerians have been speaking to the fact that the system, the security architecture has to change. How he addresses that goes a long way. There are talks about, should we start looking at state policing because of the nature of our insecurity? Will he be embracing that? Are we going to see some changes to the heads of the security agencies?
Of course.
Are we going to see so many, Nigerians are just looking for a situation where they can sleep with their two eyes closed. And how he addresses that will go a long way.
We expect to see the kind of matching order that former military president IBB gave to the IG of police, where he says, where is Anini?
Yes.
Give me Anini before a certain time frame. Otherwise, I want to see your resignation. It's as simple as that. If the commander-in-chief gives you that kind of a command, you will do everything on earth. In fact, all the schools you have been to, all the technical trainings you have been to, all the strategic training, you will deploy all of that knowledge and skill to ensure that you get this thing done. So we expect the commander-in-chief at that time, right now, to come and say, well, I give you so time frame, and I'm going to give you every resource that you need. If you don't deliver on this, I want to see your resignation on my table. If you give that kind of a command, you will see a change, because everybody will know that this man is not joking. And a command or an instruction or an order from the commander-in-chief carries all the powers, carries the weight of all the powers that you can ever imagine. So if he comes up with that kind of a body language, we're going to see a change. It is a situation where, okay, let's do this. You give a command or you give an instruction, and then it's not carried out, and nobody's asking any question.
Nobody is held to account.
Nobody is held to account. No, but you cannot imagine a commander-in-chief anywhere in the world will say, well, I didn't know that the instruction I gave was not carried out. Are you kidding me? I'm just saying.
Don't go there.
No, I'm just saying.
Don't go there.
I'm just saying.
Right.
So the point there is we expect to see a change in those areas.
Yes.
Right?
Very
because
important.
there has to be a new approach to this.
Absolutely. Another aspect is the matter of health. We just saw the resident doctors call off their strike because they had a warning strike initially. Now they began the strike. But then there was a conversation with the Labour Minister, Chris Ngige, and they have signed a new memorandum of understanding, so to speak. Whatever the content is, we do not have an insight into it. But we do hope that this incoming administration will be able to sit with these persons, to have that kind of negotiation such that we do not have this recurring matter of we had an agreement, you reneged on the agreement, our increase in salary, our increase in training, taking care of our trainings, and all of those issues will be something that will be resolved once and for all. Because it's the attendant impact on Nigerians. It's been felt. People are in the hospitals, people are dying because they are not being attended to as a result of this strike. And it's not a path we should continue on.
This has been on for so many years, and we expect that the issues of strikes should be over by now. And that is what we expect the new administration to come up with. Because when it comes to this issue of strike, look into the details. There are issues of welfare. Welfare is the number one thing that makes all of these unions go on strike. Salaries, entitlements, incentives, emoluments, as the case may be. Needed condition of work, environment. The moment you create an environment where the system can work and there is a right budgetary allocation to all of those sectors, we won't have
perhaps we'll be able to hit the 15% requirement.
Or even more.
Yes, because we have never passed, I think, 7%. We have not hit 10 at all.
In fact, we have never gone past, in fact, we've never hit double digits.
Yes.
That's the issue. That's a fact. So we can't sustain a system. That was why when COVID-19 came, the West were saying that there were going to be dead bodies dropping on the streets of Africa, or African streets, as the case may be. It turned out the other way, where it didn't happen that way. But their measurement was that because we didn't have a functional health system, that it was the impact of COVID-19 was going to be more on African countries than the West, even though it turned out the other way.
Yes.
But those are realities, and it's a wake-up call We want to see a situation where these people, doctors or even lecturers, will not be going on strike because of the issue of salaries,
welfare
monies,
package.
welfare. What is all that? We should be able to raise the level. What is obtainable across the African continent? What is the benchmark? What is the best on the African continent? And that is what we should be meeting. And in fact, even set standards. Because the issue there is originally, the countries that are our contemporaries are India, Brazil, Malaysia, as the case may be. These are countries that we are at par at independence. In fact, we were even ahead of them when you put all of us side by side. These countries have gone far ahead of us. We should be able to catch up with them based on the policies, based on the programs, based on the projects that we begin to embark on. We are not saying that every Nigerian problem will be solved under 6 months or every Nigerian issues will be solved under 1 year. No, but the point there is,
we just need to see the light.
Let there be that progress. Let there be that foundation so that Nigerians can begin to understand. For instance, the inflation rate. If we begin to see that every quarter inflation rate is dropping every quarter. If we begin to see, even if it is 2 or 3 or 5% of the dropping in inflation rate every quarter, you will see Nigerians, they will feel it in the monies that are in their pockets.
Yes.
You understand? So these are the things. Crime rate, if we begin to see that the rates are dropping and then the value of the naira increasing every quarter, these are the indices. It's not a government agency coming to say, inflation rate is...
Now that you are speaking about the economy, so to speak, Nigerians will be looking at, okay, let's see if this matter of Naira redesign, if we are going to continue on that. But that is one aspect that I know
yes, but I think
Nigerians are waiting to see.
But the Naira redesign, I think this design that came out now doesn't give the Naira strong esteem
at all.
The older 1,000 naira, the 1,000 naira note we've always had, the 500 naira we've always had, and the 200 naira we've always had a stronger esteem than what has been designed. Well, so these things have to be looked into as we get.
The president-elect had said that he was going to take tough decisions. And Nigerians are waiting to see what the decisions, what those decisions will be, especially with regards to our debt burden and all of those aspects. Oil subsidy, oil theft, bringing corruption, addressing matters of corruption, holding persons to account. As we count down to his inauguration, his magic wand we'll be waiting for.
So you're calling me magic wand too?
That's what the papers said, though. It's not me, it's the papers that said that.
It's all right. We'll wait for the wielding of that magic wand. So if it's wielded and they do it and then everything just changes. Fine.
All right, come